Hello, and welcome to my first video, merging science and art. So in this video, we are going to be discussing fiber content. Now, most people don't know this about me, but I am an incredibly passionate fiber artist. What does that mean? That means that I enjoy weaving, spinning, textile work, observing cultural art, and helping people preserve their art and their culture through the preservation and education of textile work. Now, something that a lot of people in this modern world are not aware of is that most of our clothing is made from synthetic fiber. Now, that means that all of our clothing does not actually burn clean if it catches on fire. We're going to play with fire today. I've got some matches, my cute little jar, and we are going to test different fiber content. Now, I have 7 different fibers. I've got 100% acrylic, 98% acrylic, 80% polyamide, 20% polyester, 77% cotton, 23% nylon, 100% wool, 100% silk, and then 100% cotton. We're going to burn each of these and look at the burn pattern for each of the fibers. And then we're going to discuss what that means for you and the textiles that you have in your life. Okay, our first fiber that we're going to test is acrylic. Now, I have yarn because that's what we have. And we are going to put it in this shell for safety so that I'm not actually touching it. And we're going to watch it burn. And you can see that it kind of gets melty. You can kind of see that as it's burning, it's just kind of melting. You see that? That is not something you want on your body. If that's what touches your skin, you're going to end up with a 3rd-degree burn, and you're going to end up with adhesion of acrylic to your skin. The next one that we're going to work on, looks like my little fire is starting to burn low. I had a striker, but now we're just using the lighter. And remember, kids, if you're doing this outside, you always need to have something to put the fire out with. I've got water. You can use sand or ash. So long as you smother the flame entirely, you're going to maintain your safety. Okay, let's try this again. For our next fiber, we've got 98% acrylic and 2% unknown. It looks like this. We're just gonna go like this. And this is what happens. So this is 98% acrylic, 2% other. Our next one that we have is 80% polyamide nylon and 20% polyester. It's got some fun sparkles. We're gonna go like this. Kind of see how it still melts, but it kind of curls up. This is nylon, polyamide nylon, and it just kind of shrivels up. Okay, the next one that we have, 77% cotton, 23% nylon. This one's got a cleaner burn. It's holding onto it a little bit better. Cotton is used in a lot of wicks. So if you have a candle or you have like a small lamp, you're going to be using cotton because it does burn. It doesn't just melt. Now, because it has the 23% nylon, you're going to see that it's shriveled up a little bit. The next fiber that we're testing is 100% wool. Okay. You can see it here. Don't want that dropping on the table. Okay. Now, when wool burns, because it is made from animal, it kind of turns straight to ash, which is a really neat thing that's built into animals, is that their fur, it doesn't really melt. It just kind of burns. Now, there's a little bit of not wool in here from the dye, but other than that, wool's not terribly great at like catching fire. You can kind of see. The next one, oof, wool stinks when it burns. Okay, the next one we have is 100% silk. Silk is interesting because silk is made from silkworms. And when it burns, it's one of the more safer materials to actually wear, because when it burns, it just burns. If this caught fire, if you were wearing 100% silk and it caught fire, this would not adhere to your body. Okay, the last one that we're testing is 100% cotton. Now, this does have dye in it. It's red, but it is 100% cotton. So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. This is going to be one of the more safer items to wear because you can discard it. Ooh, it's hot. But it does burn all the way out. Kind of see that. Okay. Now, thankfully, the fire that we lit didn't catch anything, but we are in the forest and we need to talk about that. So forest fire safety is something that is really near and dear to my heart. I am a long-time outdoors person. It is a passion of mine. I love it. But one of the things that I really like to focus on is making sure that when we are outside, we are safe with our fire. Now, how can we do this and be safe while we are outdoors enjoying science? We can make sure that when we are working with fire, we keep them in contained environments. We don't want to have any sort of fire that's loose. So if you have like a bonfire, you're going to want it in a vessel. This one's cast iron. The shells work great. We want to make sure that it's up off the ground. So if you have a campfire and you're in a fire pit, that's one thing. But if we're just on this table, then we're going to want to make sure that there's something down on the table so that if the fire drops, the table doesn't catch fire. If we are working with a table, then we also want to keep in mind that the fire needs to be on a surface and it needs to have some sort of ridge on it. So these seashells worked great for this experiment, for what we were doing. I have water available, and I also have over here some sand, just in case something does come up, I can put the sand out and smother the flame. Being from Oregon, there are a ton of safety situations where we have some really bad wildfires. So again, remember, when you're doing these kinds of experiments with your family or with students that you work with outside of your classroom setting, then we need to be mindful of fire safety. Okay, let's talk about some of the different fabrics and textiles that are made around the world. We're going to start with machine woven. So these are fabrics that are either made synthetically or naturally, but they're woven with a machine. And by machine, I mean big giant apparatus. You go to a warehouse and the shuttle just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's very, very, very urbanized. The machines produce fabric by the yards. It's incredible to watch. It really is a testament to human ingenuity and engineering. But, you know, every fabric has a different purpose. What we're going to go over first is rayon. So this is a really neat fabric. Rayon is made synthetically, but it's also a natural fiber. And what I think is really neat about rayon is that it has the breathability of natural fibers, but it is also able to have the tighter weave that you get from a machine. This fabric here is a plain weave, so that's just over, under, over, under, over, under. The next fabric that was made on a machine that I want to talk to you about is cotton. This is a really nice piece of cotton. This is machine woven, and then it was hand dyed. So what I really like about this piece is that it puts together that nostalgia of the handmade fabric, but it also implements modern engineering. This fabric was dyed yellow by hand, and then it was block printed with the neat script there. A lot of fabrics like this are used for religious purposes or for art pieces. If you're going to look at the store for basic cotton, you're going to be looking at t-shirts, bed sheets, curtains, other types of textiles that you would find in your home. This is a fun scarf. This was woven by machine. And what I like about this scarf is if you look close, it sparkles. One of the neat things about machine woven fabrics and synthetic materials is that we have the ability to add glamour in a much faster way than hand embroidery or other forms of embellishment that we've seen in the past. Now, does that take away from some of our handmade artisan work? Some argue that it does, but in the reality, if you need a cute, fun, sparkly scarf, it's fun, it's sparkly. You know, everything has its place, everything has its purpose, and our goal as humanity is to work together so that everyone in their purpose can fulfill what it is that they're seeking to accomplish, so long as it's for the good. This last piece that I wanted to show you from the machine woven work is this really, really, really beautiful scarf made of 100% silk with these very pretty little streams of gold in it. This scarf is neat. It is double layered, but it has these threads within the fabric between the two layers that create the flower shape and the motif. And then it comes down at the end to be woven with the fringe. This is another one of those amazing testaments to fusion of tradition and modern mechanics. This is a hand-woven piece, or a machine-woven piece with hand-woven elements. It's also 100% silk. For our hand-woven textiles, I wanted to show off a few pieces that were specifically meaningful to me and my personal life journey. So in my family's tradition, we have been hand-weaving textiles for a long time, like thousands of years. Our culture wears a lot of leather, and we wear a lot of textiles and embellishments. And so because of that, I have a passion for handmade textiles. And a lot of my friends know this about me, and they like to gift me pieces from around the world. So the first piece I made, this was on a loom that I met in Utah, in Salt Lake City, from a weaver, and she gave me this loom, and it was with me for 4 years. Loved it. It was beautiful jack loom. That means that the pieces where the warp goes through to weave the fabric, they come up and down with petals that are on the ground. So this I made. It's a beautiful shawl. Great to keep you warm. Looks fabulous over my t-shirt and jeans. It's made in a style that's called union cloth. Now, union cloth is a cotton warp with a 100% wool or wool blended weft. So this creates this beautiful weave pattern It's just plain weave. It's nothing fancy. But the contrast creates a very, very beautiful dynamic in the fabric. The next piece that I want to show you is a vintage piece from Kashmir. Now this is 15% silk and 85% pashmina. This was a gift from a friend. This is a very, very beautiful piece. You can see the motif in there. It means so much to me that this was a gift. I love it so much. It's kept me warm through the winter for sure. And it has two of my favorite colors in it. So I love that it's reversible. This was made on what's called a double weave. So the fibers are put this way, and then they're woven together on top of each other to create a double-sided fabric. There's actually 2 layers of fabric here, and then as they're being woven, they're bound together on the edge, which is so beautiful. I love it so much. Okay, my last piece was given to be my mother. In our family, it is a tradition that as your children come into adulthood, they are gifted with a shawl to carry with them throughout their life. And sometimes it's passed down, sometimes it's new. My mother has gifted us many shawls throughout our adulthood. Thank you, Mama. Because my siblings and I do have a passion for textiles. And so whenever she's out, she finds the most beautiful pieces. This is a handmade pashmina that is 100% pashmina. The brown one that was gifted to me, is the silk and the pashmina. This one is 100% pashmina, except for, and this is the part that makes me so excited, because not only is it hand woven, not only can you see the irregularities of the weave in the light. I'll move this out of the way. What makes me so excited about this fabric is that the yellow that you see, that sparkle, that's gold. And to me, that she found these touches my heart so much. This was a gift that she gave to me at a point in my life where I was having a hard time. And she gave it to me on a day that was had proven to be incredibly meaningful in my life. And so for me to have this beautiful pashmina from my mother with the lotus in the middle, a beautiful motif with the lotuses, and this beautiful gray and gold. I love it. I love it so much. It brings me so much peace. It smells amazing because natural fiber has a smell that cannot be replaced. To be wrapped in this gray, blue, and gold makes me feel loved, makes me feel important, and that is why textiles matter. That is why we preserve the culture. That's why I'm a fiber artist, because each piece of these textiles has a story, and each story deserves to be spun, and each dream deserves to be weaved. And on that note, thank you for joining me on my first video. Remember to live life joyfully.